Good morning. Gonna throw some fuel in my transfer tank and head to the field. Truck's full and we'll take off, go down to the elevator and haul 2 loads down there and hopefully get moved back up here to the farm and start cutting on these. Although it looks like somebody left me a present out in the field out there. I love when people dump trash. Multitasking, number 1 and number 2. Clean air filter. So now we're ready to go to the field. Got fuel and clean air. Life's good. Need to put that thing in a shed, but I really don't have room for it right now. Not hooked to the disc at least. So I doubt you guys can hear it, but something I've always thought was kind of neat. It's wet out this morning. You can see all the moisture on the windows of the combine stuff. But these big power lines, I don't know, hang on a second. Those big power lines, when it's wet like this, you can hear the electricity. It's almost like it's burning the moisture off of them, but you can just hear those things buzzing, which is kind of neat to me. Yet there's birds sitting on them. In fact, if somebody wanted to dove hunt right now, there's about 20 doves sitting on the power line, so you can get a bunch of them. Not that you should shoot them off a power line, but I know it gets done a lot. So the semi's running. I'll let it air up, but while it's airing up, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the air filter in the combine. And then it should be mostly good to go for the day. I greased it and blew it off yesterday, so it ought to be good to go today. Didn't cut very much with it yesterday either. But they're dusty, so gotta keep it blown off. Okay, we are rolling. It is, it's a cold one this morning. A little bit of frost and quite a bit of dew. So maybe some of this green stem soybean crap will knock it off. Hopefully the frost will zap it out of them. Well, we weren't so fortunate today. A little bit of a line, but not too bad. That's seen it a lot worse, let's put it that way. Getting load number 2 all loaded up for the day. Walking. One-man show. Pretty much all day today, I'd say. It's kind of slow going when you're by yourself, but it is what it is. Just as soon as I'm done with this field, I'm gonna give the windows a really good cleaning because they're not gonna stay clean for more than 5 minutes down here. As dusty as these beans are in the creek bottom, but they need clean bad. So we'll get the semi full and get headed back down there. Pretty good beans down in here, but it's noon, but they're still cutting a little bit tough this morning. But no more than what I've got left down in here. I'm gonna finish it up. Pretty good beans though. Well, I've got about a pass and a half left down here. I parked that tractor on that grass waterway there, but I think that I'm gonna just try and get this entire hopper, which the screen's covered because the camera's covered, but gonna try and get this whole hopper on the semi and cut that other pass and get it on the semi. I should be able to get the rest of this to Newburgh on one truck. Now I've got 15 or 20 acres left back there, but they're a different maturity bean. I ran out of 3.6s and this is where I switched to the 4.2s and I planted that and then went to the north side of the interstate. So they're not quite ready, they're really close, but I'm gonna go back and cut the beans around the main farm, about 200 acres. I should knock that out in a couple days, 2.5 days probably, and then I'll come back up here and knock these out. I hate to do that, but I got about 15 or 20 acres over there, and then I think 40 or 50 on the other side of the interstate, so it'll make it worth coming up here. But yeah, they're doing pretty good. So I'm hoping that I can squeeze the rest of these on the semi. Well, maybe we'll get them all on, maybe we won't, but it's gonna be pretty close. It's definitely gonna be a very full semi. This is one of those loads that might question 80,000 pounds. Typically with soybeans, it's pretty hard to get this semi-trailer over 80,000. So typically, I mean, 99% of the time, I'm not over 80,000 because it's a 38-foot trailer, not a 41. But this may be one of them that's dependent on test weight, because I'm gonna have it pretty full. Alright, well that's a wrap for this field today. Definitely got a full semi-load, so this could be interesting to try and tarp. I'm hoping that's still a legal load. Like I said, if I piled it up like that with corn, I know it would be overloaded, but in beans, I feel pretty confident that I'm still alright. So, we will see. Alright, we're tarped, and we're ready to go again. And then it's going to be a whole lot of moving this afternoon. And if I get started by 4 o'clock, I'll be tickled to death. Well, we made it again. Second load down, and this will finish the contract, so hopefully I don't have to haul much down here up until winter time. The rest of it's pretty much going to go in a grain bin, so we'll cover some ground now. Well, the day just went from being productive to not. Just blew out a drive tire. Recap tires are stupid and should be illegal, and nobody will change my mind on that. Kind of puts a kink in my plans today. It'd be nice to have just one day with nothing going wrong. Just one day of good running. It would be great to have one day. Good times. Okay, so I made it back, grabbed the head cart, dropped the head, get it home, grab the combine, get it home. It's already almost 4:30, so if I get a semi-load cut today, it'll be a miracle. No more hauling down to the elevator. It's all going in the bin from here on out, so I can actually get something done during the day. Okay, so we got started here at home, and I'm putting the seed salesman to work. I told him to get in the semi and pull it up here for me. So, first hopper's full. This field's making 60, and it's probably the worst field we've got this year, so I'm alright with that. 11.2%, they're definitely dry enough, so we're gonna send it. Knock these crappy looking weeds flat, use this thing like a bush hog, so they're rolling out. So basically what we're doing right now is seeing if my yield monitor's bullshit or not. He walked off and measured, and now we're gonna weigh it and make sure that what that says is accurate to what that says. Well, unfortunately, I think this is gonna be the last hopper I cut. I'm gonna give them a couple days. They're testing anywhere from 11 to 16. Like where I'm at right now, they're bone dry, but you get on the other side of the field and they're extremely wet. And all 200 acres is the same variety, and it was planted within 2 days of each other, so it's all going to be about the same, I think. I jumped across the highway and tried that field out. It was pretty much the same thing as over here. There was dry spots and there was wet spots, but all in all, there was more wet than dry. So I think I'm going to hold off a couple days and just wait till they're all ready. Especially because That grain bin fan is only a 12-inch fan, and it won't take much moisture out of these beans. So I really hate to have a 8,000 bushel bean bin go bad just because I started 2 days earlier than what I should have. So I'm just gonna wait, but they look pretty poor right here. Really should have replanted this part, but just on a knob, and you'd knock more beans over that had a good stand like those getting out here to it than you would have done any good replanting it. So it's kind of one of those things. I thought I'd do more damage replanting it than I would getting out here and just leaving it alone. So most of the field looks really good, averaging and just shy of 60. So these are the worst beans I've cut yet this year, but still not awful. They're hanging right in there about 58 right now, so that's not terrible. Still dusty though. Well, got a semi-load cut after all. And yes, that one's incredibly overloaded, but it doesn't matter because it's going in a grain bin. So before you get all worried. And by the way, that load earlier was actually 50 pounds under 80,000. So close, but not quite. That one's definitely over 80,000 though. I'm gonna go cut one more hopper. My auger is supposed to be here anytime to set on the grain bin, but it's not here yet. So I guess I'll cut a few more tonight, but that's probably gonna be all for a while. Okay, so we've got a full hopper, a full semi, and the auger's here. So I'm gonna get that set, go ahead and start dumping it. But first I'm gonna throw a sweatshirt on because it's chilly out. All right, let's see if we can't get this up there. I don't have it all the way up yet. It gets them pretty top heavy when you get them all the way up in there. Ease on back. Alright, I'm gonna put my phone down for this. Cart's here. Looks like it made it here from the other farm. We're ready to dump. Just like a drive over pit, except a poor man's version of it. Alright, it's time to get this big rig unloaded. It's a shame the auger doesn't go higher, I'd just dump it straight in the bin. So we're dumping in the dark. And yeah, I was the first one to put my lights on, but when you're the only one, it doesn't count. For those of you that don't know, it's always a game who turns their lights on the last. Always a game. Don't know why, but it's definitely a game. It's a thing. This thing just won't run empty. I feel like I've been sitting here forever. Definitely had a pretty full hopper on her. I think I'm just going to leave the semi parked over the auger, because as close as we are, I'll probably just use the semi as basically a holding tank and dump the grain cart straight onto it, feed it into the auger. It's a shame the grain cart doesn't just have some kind of chute on it. I mean, it's got the gate at the bottom, but it's impossible to wiggle that and swing away underneath it. So a lot of times when we're right here by the farm, we just use the semi stationary like this and dump the cart straight onto it. Well, what do you do when the beans are too wet? You go test some corn. So it looks like we won't be combining beans tomorrow. We're gonna start on corn. It's way drier than I thought.